Like people say his heart stopped. I think that motherfucker scared as hell. That motherfucker, he just fainted. Hey, it's a tough walk. I ain't gonna lie, that's a tough walk. Because if he really did have a heart condition, why you fight?
Yeah.
Like, for real. So that's why I think it's capped. I don't think the UFC would allow him to fight. Because he's like, yeah, my heart just stopped. I'm like, so you just died walking out. I was wild back in the day, but I should not have been working security. I was the worst one. I was the worst one. I was instigating. I'm starting fights. Oh, you said something about your mama, man.
So what'd you get into so far?
Shit, no, man. I've been with the family, bro. So,
Your family's from here?
Yeah, nah. Well, so actually, yeah. So I used to come out to Texas every summer when I was little.
Oh, okay.
So my granny stayed in San Antonio. So she, for the first time, met my son, you know, so my son got to meet her, great granny, you know what I'm saying, for the first time in person. So that was well needed. I ain't seen
Damn, great.
So this is a great granny.
Wow.
So it's my granny, so it's his great granny.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, so we needed that, you know.
Mic a little closer to you.
We started right now?
Yeah.
Shit, we on right now?
Yeah.
But we live, you hear me, on the game. But for real, so coming down here, man, it was well needed because my family, I ain't seen them in a minute, bro. Yeah. So having just focus on the career, y'all know how it is, you know. We devote our whole life to this sport, you know, no matter whether it's jiu-jitsu, wrestling, or fight, you got to devote yourself in order to be the best. So I lost a lot of time with just connecting with the family. So now that I got time to chill real quick, I got to devote that time.
That's good. And you just came off a win, right? You
just came off a win of Andre Fiallo.
Nice.
Good fighter, you know, a banger with himself. You know, I think he got 5 fights within his first year being signed with the UFC.
First year. Holy shit, he's cranking it out.
I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. You know?
Yeah.
But when you do that though, you know, you run the probability of losing more. You know, so that's why you see a lot of guys, they pick and choose. You know what I'm saying? Like who they fighting, and you don't see them for a while because they trying to find the right matchups. You know, so if you want to play the business route, that's the best way to go about it. But I feel like if you want to be a fan favorite, you got to get out there. You know, so even myself, I done had 10 fights within under 3 years.
Oh, wow.
You know?
Wow,
So,
okay.
So, you know, it's about activity.
Yeah.
You gotta be active.
I feel like minimum you have to get at least 3.
At least
3 a year.
You know
3 a year.
I'm
minimum.
more like 4. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, everybody ain't blessed like that, you know. And, you know, it's a lot of injuries that come
in
with
the sport, yep.
Man, so many injuries that come with this. So once you able to create a schedule for yourself, then you can figure out, you know, how many fights you want to place in. But for me, if you type of fighter, and there's a lot of them out there, once a year, come on, bro. Like,
you can't.
Yeah, so it is what it is.
How long is your ideal camp?
For me, ideal camp like 3 months, but
So 12 weeks.
I don't need that though. Yeah. You know, but that's ideal though, right? For me, like, so this last fight camp was like 6 weeks. So that's when they called. So I had 6 weeks, but I was already getting ready though. So that was plenty enough time.
But you stay in shape like year round.
I gotta stay in shape.
Yeah.
But being in shape and fight shape, 2 different things. So I don't know about jiu-jitsu, you know. But for fighting, like, it's one thing to be able to do a couple rounds, but you got to be able to be so conditioned where you able to, you know, amplify, you know, that conditioning and be able to stay at a high input the whole time. So I'm not there right now, right? I'm in good shape, but I'm not at the type of shape where
fight shape,
right? I could probably still beat a couple more, like, you know, but at the end of the day, though, if I can't fight the best at that level, then I don't want to be fighting at all.
You're saying ideal. Yeah,
Ideally, I want to be in fight shape at all times. So right now, it's preparation all the time. So if I'm not in fight shape now, I ain't even taking a fight.
Interesting.
Because I want to treat everybody like they're a world champion, just in case.
Of course. Real quick, let's just start because we just started, rolling. So, guys, watching Simple Man podcast, BJJ Damien,
Nicky Rod.
We got an awesome guest here.
Joaquin, new master Buckley. Y'all know the vibes.
Yeah, one of the most viral KOs that's spinning. Would you throw a roundhouse kick? He caught it. Was it a roundhouse?
Yeah, roundhouse kick.
He caught it.
He caught the leg. He did a good. Actually, it was the right defense that he did, but he just held it a little too long. And I just used that exposure. I turned my back, you know, and he thought he had me. And I just propelled my foot, and you seen, most viral knockout of all time.
You know, that's actually how I came across you. Actually,
okay,
was that I was like, holy shit! Now, you don't practice that. You know, you can't. You practice that kick?
So you practice it, but you can't really like throw stuff like that.
In training.
In training.
That's the thing.
You can't just be doing your buddies like that.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? So it's like
making them go viral in the gym. You can't do that. But I did practice that move though. And I got that move initially from this dude named Raymond.
Of course.
Yeah, so he kickboxer, karate guy.
Karate.
Actually, taekwondo. I'm sorry.
Is it taekwondo?
So, taekwondo. Okay. Yeah. He cold.
Yeah.
So watching him perform that, and I believe Glory, he when he kicked it, he didn't throw a roundhouse. He set up like a side kick, right? And he used that side kick to pretty much bounce on dude hip. He touched the hip, and then he bounced off dude hip, and then turned and flung. And I was like, oh, that's cold. So I worked that same move off the bat, and I constantly do it. And the reason why I enjoyed it so much is because I felt so powerful. Like, the way I impact the bag, I was like, bro, there's no other shot that I could do like that. No hook, no cross, you know what I mean? Not even just my regular side kick could give me that type of power, you know, unless I actually flung my body in the air.
Hit that rotation.
And I hit that rotation, man. Like, I was fucking like a shotgun to the bag, you know, and it straight bent it in half. So I just always felt good hitting it. So I would constantly work that move since, how old was I when I first started? I think like 23. So since 23, you know what I mean, up until that moment when I had hit that kick on Emperor, I've been hitting that move for like 3 years, constantly just on the bag.
And how old are you now?
I'm 29.
29, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I got signed 26 when I was 26.
26 when you got signed to the UFC.
Yeah.
And then when did you start MMA?
I started
like
when I was 18.
Oh, 18.
I
when
went
did you
pro
go
like shortly after.
Wow, yeah.
So I went 8-0 on the regionals in St. Louis, and I was beating up everybody. But my whole thing was I was like, I only want to fight the best though. So even though I was only 8-0, I was still fighting the best. So I was looking for the ranked guys who was up there, and I was just working up that level before I felt comfortable going pro. Because I was like, if I can't beat the best at the amateur level, I shouldn't even think about going pro, you know? So I beat all the guys that was the best at the amateur level, and then ended up moving pro. But that was like in a 1 year's time, you know? So I literally turned pro when I was like 19. Wow. Yeah, so I've been pro for a minute.
Shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say your style is? Like, what did you start off with martial arts first? Was it just MMA right away? Was it striking, kickboxing?
Yeah. So it was wrestling actually. So wrestling was my first for real fundamental.
That lat drop.
Yeah,
we were training. That caught me by surprise.
But no. But yeah, wrestling, man. You know, I love the wrestling game, bro. Definitely win for the mental, you know. Ain't no grind like wrestling, bro. Just that impact constantly over again. You know what I mean? That dog, you know, because you can't break in wrestling. You know what I mean? And jiu-jitsu, we got certain moments where you can flow a little bit, you know, depending on who you going with for sure. But like you got times where you can flow. But in wrestling, I feel like it's just a constant grind, nonstop. And as soon as you slow down, that's the next guy. He's on you, and he's just breaking you down the whole time. So I felt like that really built me up for MMA because it's uncomfortable, you know.
Yeah.
And MMA for sure is like one of the most uncomfortable sports to be in.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's funny because I would actually even argue that it's like wrestling or even just grappling for MMA. I feel like that's such a huge advantage. What would you say, like being a professional fighter in the UFC, fighting at the highest levels? Do you think that's true? Because you see guys that like really want to strike and stuff like that, which is great. You got to learn how to strike.
Yeah.
But it's like grappling, I feel like, is king.
Yeah. So it's always. I mean, since this sport been made, it's always been the grappler that always came out on top. The Dan Severns or Hoist Gracies, you know,
of course,
all the big name grapplers. Randy Couture becoming like the old
legend,
old champ though, you know,
Mm-hmm.
all from his wrestling because grappling is such a strong base to have because eventually, even if you hit me and you rocking me, if I hold you or if I grab you. Now we changing the element.
Grappling, yeah.
Exactly.
Grappling.
So even if you watch boxing, if you watch Muay Thai, they end up in grappling situations. They end up in the clinch, you know. So even though the fight started on his feet, eventually y'all gonna be hugging, and then the fight gonna go there. So grappling is the most dominant part to have down. That should be your foundation. You know, as a striker, not saying you couldn't transition over, but you're gonna have a difficult time because even for myself, even though I started off in wrestling, it took me a minute to understand what I was doing. You know, I was out there just, you know, blast doubling, but it took a long time to understand positioning, control, hips, and everything, and your grips, everything. Like, it's about the fundamentals of the game. And that's gonna take a while for you to get that understanding.
To really get it.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say you were talking about Raymond Daniels. I don't know if you know this fight. So one of my buddies actually from Ambush Muay Thai down in San Antonio.
Okay.
My buddy Peter Staninik. So he fought Raymond Daniels.
Okay.
Do you remember there was a viral moment where Raymond did a spinning back kick to a dude's nuts?
Damn, that was him?
That was
him.
him.
He did it like 3 times?
It was twice. So,
Hey,
it was rough, man. Rough.
It was.
So Raymond fucking does a spinning back kick, hits Pete in the nuts, right?
Yeah.
It was horrible, like full-fledged
by accident,
contact.
though.
It was an accident. It was an accident. Yeah,
it was truly
both,
not
both,
intentional.
both were accidents. Both were accidents.
I don't know about that third one though.
Bro, so he's like, he's on the ground. He's like screaming. He's like, you know, it's fucking 3-4 minutes, whatever. And he's like, all right, let's go. They were asking like, do you still want to fight? He's like, yeah, let's go. Literally within another like 20 seconds of the fighting, right away, again, gets kicked in the nuts again. Now he's crying. Bro.
Oh no, because that's the most powerful move you can throw
with kicks,
and he threw that to the sensitive area on the man's body.
Oh, man.
I'm talking about your man, the G though. I don't, like for him to just to be able to stand up and be like, yeah, let's continue again, because I would have been gone on the first one.
Yeah,
I would have been like the first nut shot. Like nah,
yeah,
I'm good,
I'm okay.
We'll come ahead and DQ that motherfucker. Yeah. See you next time.
Crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, I do know that though, man. Yeah, that's crazy.
Pete, man, from Ambush Muay Thai.
Okay.
Good stuff, man.
As a fighter in the top of the UFC, what's your thoughts on the John Jones like knee kick, the oblique kick?
No, I love it.
You like it, yeah?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, anything that's just not dirty, right? And what I mean by dirty is like biting, eye gouging.
Illegal.
You know, that's illegal. Like, but I wanted to keep it as close to the streets as possible. So if you don't know how to stop it, you know, then that's just another part of fighting that you have to learn.
Yeah.
Just like what the one does, and I love, they can knee a grounded
knee
opponent.
on the,
You see now, but the thing is though, if you know the rules, you know not to do that, right?
Yeah.
So I don't like that a lot of guys, even in the UFC, still don't have to understand it. If a dude is grounded,
put their hand on the mat. You're saying
right. No matter, if they got their hand. So in a 3-point stance, if they got a hand or their knees is on, that's a grounded opponent. You can't knee them. And you told that before a fight, you know. So my thing is just guys got to have an understanding. But I do feel like the UFC needs to implement as close to street fighting as possible, right? Because if you want to see what really works in the fight, that's what you got to do, you know. But like I said, just the biting and the eye gouging or hair pulling, I don't want to see that crap, you know. But everything else, like, let's go, let's rock with it.
There's even certain kind of elbows that you can't really throw.
Yeah, man, that's that old school, man, 12-6, bro. So back in the day when the UFC first got initiated, I forget the name. He just passed away too. He created all the rules, but you know they had this video of you know, old school karate guys, man, breaking ice blocks, boom, just like that, you know. And I still to this day don't even know if that is real or not. You know, like still to this day I don't even know if that crap is real. But either way though, like it's just like they felt like that would be a damaging shot to hit on somebody. Of course it would be if you hit in the wrong spot, like the spine, but you can't hit there no way. But I feel like you can hit there in the shoulder or in the rib, whatever. It shouldn't be no issue. But that's still a stupid rule.
I do think that's a stupid rule.
Yeah,
that's kind of stuff. That's insane. But yo, so would you want knees on grounded opponents in the UFC? That's what you want?
Yeah, like pride back in the day. Yeah, like because you can't play around right there, you know?
Yeah.
Especially if I'm messing with a great jiu-jitsu dude, that's a good weapon for me. You know, if he's like trying to slide, I don't want to mess with you, I'm going to hit you, like get your ass up.
Yeah.
So it's a good threat to have for a guy that's, you know, good on the ground. But if you don't have that, then guess what? Then you just got to work where they play.
Now, what about this then? What do you think on like Lethway? Lethway allows headbutts.
I like, I
love
that?
Headbutts. Wow. So really it's close.
That's a weapon. That's a weapon.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
as close as possible.
So as close as possible, you know, without it being dirty. So Lethway, I love that style.
That would change the sport so much.
That really would.
Oh yes, it would, because you already got dudes that headbutt each other a lot of times, you know. But don't think it'd be a good thing, because so the setup for a headbutt is a little different, you know. You got to actually find the targets, you know, because you can knock yourself out trying to headbutt somebody, which is not the smartest idea, you know. And then if you try to lead with your head a lot of times, uppercuts, cross, like, you know, it's a lot of things that you can leave yourself open, even if you try to use that as a weapon. So you got to be very smart, though, at the end of the day.
Were you a fighter before martial arts? Like,
yeah. Oh, for sure. You know, so but regardless though, what got me into like the whole idea of even wanting to be a martial artist was movies.
Oh yeah,
I was so inspired. I was so inspired by all movies, man. So you know, of course, we all know the Bruce Lee. You know what I mean, Jeet Kune Do. You know, but my dude was Jackie Chan.
Jackie
Yeah,
Chan.
Bill on Wheels. You know, shit. Hold on. I'm blanking right now. It was a cop movie that he played in. Cop Story. Little called Cop Story. All 4 of the movies, man, fire. You know, but Jackie Chan was one of my favorites to watch. And just the way that he used to train, his stunts that he used to do, and the actual fight choreography, bro. Some of the dopest stuff that you would watch, you know. But they was all real, you know. All the sequences that you see, you can actually perform. you know, because they wanted to keep it legit because they are true martial artists. You know, even though the entertainment is for the movie and stuff like that, you can still watch and learn from these guys, you know. Yeah.
What's your, like, say you're in camp, what's like a week of training look like for you?
Or just 1 week?
Yeah, just one
Yeah,
week.
like what's the schedule? What's the schedule?
So the schedule, I mean, shoot, man, boring, same stuff all the time, you know, but you got to keep it with the basics. So a basic week for me, you know, like a Monday, so I train with Justin Hardick. He's my strength and conditioning coach. Actually used to be an NFL player back in the day, you know, for the Browns. So I believe he played on the O-line, played nose. But he's my strength and conditioning coach. And so we just do regular conditioning with him. He always mixes it up, you know, has us doing cardio one day and then having us doing, you know, kettlebells, the mace, functional movement a lot of times, you know, because you got to be able to move in the cage. And then Tuesday, we'll grapple, you know, at the gym, you know, real hard with our wrestling. Then have a little MMA training right after that. Wednesday will be sparring, good sparring day. Yeah. Good CTE day. Yep. And then Thursday we go back to the grappling, but this time it's jiu-jitsu, you know. So I want to get some more jiu-jitsu in. Usually I only train it Tuesdays and Sundays, and I realized I need a lot more. But then after that, Friday, we do a lot of mitt work and bag work. So we hit the bag a lot. So kickboxing, boxing type style, you know. And Saturday, you know, a lot of guys do their own thing. Sunday, man, it's the Lord day. Yep.
Oh, so you take Sunday off?
Yeah, I mean, I still do stuff, but it's literally just watching videos. You know, just sitting back, man, letting the body relax. Recovery. Sunday recovery day.
So real quick. So Monday you said strength and conditioning. So that means are you doing one session?
So Monday all the way throughout the week we doing strength and conditioning.
Oh, strength and conditioning.
It's throughout
every
the whole.
day. It's 5 days a week, 5 or 7.
5 days a week.
Wow.
5 days
Okay,
a week,
now are you doing one session a day? So it's like Monday strength and
I get
conditioning.
what you're saying. Yep. Just
So
one
are you
session
doing
a day.
just one session a day?
Yep. And then I got my MMA training, you know. But
So-
of course we got to mix it up, right? Because we do so many different things.
So I'm saying like Monday you got strength and conditioning. You're doing MMA that same day also.
Yeah.
So MMA, like what type of MMA you doing on Monday?
So Monday it'll be like mid work a little bit, the same thing, strike, shadow boxing, you know, throwing the jab. So coach is different, right? He like us to bang. Yeah, he don't like wrestling. He like that wrestling shit. Don't work. he like them 50K bonuses, you know.
Yeah.
So Mondays we'll just work a lot of shadow boxing, technique striking, and then like I said, Tuesday it'll be wrestling,
MMA also.
Yep. And then Thursday it'll be that jiu-jitsu. Wednesday is sparring.
So you said you're doing usually two sessions a day?
2 sessions, yeah.
Two sessions.
One with Justin and then one with my MMA coach.
Yeah. Okay, so that's every day.
Yeah.
Two sessions a day every day.
Yeah.
Now, is that your standard schedule or is that only in fight camp?
No, it's standard. Yeah,
That's standard.
Now we amp it up
During fight.
Yeah. So then we'll get more like one-on-one attention.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Based on
Sharpen
who we
it up.
fighting.
Now, one last question relating to that. So, getting into fight shape, what are you doing for your conditioning? What is your boy have you doing to get into fight shape?
Man, we do a lot of crazy stuff that he just be coming up. I think he be having dreams and just be coming up like, bro, what you want me to do? So like one workout that we have, we called War God Laps, you know, and we go to this place called Grandeur Meadows, and it's just a park, but it has this big ass hill. I can't tell you how big it is, but it's steep in the mud, bro. You know, like if it snowed that day and you went down sledding, you might die out that mud thing. So we run up all the way to that hill, but sometimes he'll change it up. So we either run with resistance with weight behind us, and now we gotta really push that thing. Or last time he had me carry a heavy bag. So we watched Vision Quest. You ever seen Vision Quest?
Vision Quest.
You know what I'm saying? Vision. You remember how he used to carry?
He was going up the bleachers with that. Yeah.
Hope so.
That was sick.
So one of those things was definitely influenced by him. So we'll hold up, the heavy bag though instead of a big log.
They had a log.
He had a log. So we hold a heavy bag and we just walk that thing up, But there's a lot of different things that we do, man. But just keeping that heart rate going. That heavy pace going. So no matter what we doing, he making sure that our heart rate is being pushed, and then we get a short break, and then we got to sprint again, So yeah, but a lot of guys, I feel like for me, they can't keep up with the stuff that we do back home, because we always changing it up. I feel like I got the best conditioning.
You have good cardio.
Yeah,
you have great cardio.
Yeah.
Great cardio.
Definitely when it comes to MMA, because I feel like it's some places where I can play around a little bit, I can get my breath back, and then I can explode again. You know, yep.
Now, you only did 3-5, right? 3-5-minute rounds. You haven't done 5. You done 5? You did 25 yet?
No, I want to though.
Okay,
I want to. I'm trying to get a main event, bro. You know, I'm tired of signing my name on posters that ain't got my face on it. You know, so that's what we prepare for. We always prepare for championship rounds because that's what we're trying to be. Trying to be champs.
Everyone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is.
And that's what we talked about before. Everybody say they want to be champ, but they ain't putting in the work to be champ. You know, so that's the difference. Like, we actually trying to put in the work to be where we trying to go.
I want to ask you, so for the 3 5-minute rounds in a fight, what is your pacing like?
Yeah.
For that fight, like not training camp, I'm saying literally in the fight.
Yeah. So
what is your pacing like?
I had to learn the hard way. I ain't gonna lie to you. Cause my pace used to be 100.
Just go.
100. But that got me caught a lot of times. Just coming in, because a lot of times when I lost my fights, it wasn't because those guys were better than me.
You're fatigued. You're tired.
No, it's not even me getting tired. Like, I put myself in a bad position where I don't care if you ain't tired.
Like,
okay. You get touched in the right spot, you just
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's never that I got tired. It's just my pace was so fast. So now I'm realizing, because I'm always trying to be an entertaining fighter. I'm always trying to be the fan.
At the end of the day, it's a show, right?
It is a show.
It's a show.
But I still got to be smart, though.
Of course.
Because I'm trying to get somewhere. So now I'm having a little bit more patience. So in my last fight with Andre Fiallo, a little bit more patience. Still kept the pressure on him, but I picked my moments a lot better than I did in my previous other fights. You know, so now that I have that, a little patience behind it, I feel like it even makes me more dangerous, because now guys is like really anticipating, like, because now they don't know when to throw. They knew to throw when I come forward, but when I'm feigning now and I'm stepping to the side, it's really throwing them off, because they already scared to stand up with me in the first place. So, yeah.
I feel like we saw that with Francis, where he, his first couple of fights came out real hot. Got tired, and once he like matured a little bit, he's a different guy.
Yeah, and more dangerous, man. Patient fighter is very dangerous.
Well, it's like if you're always coming forward now, even though it's a lot of pressure, that's still predictable now. Like, they're coming for you. It's like, I don't know you're coming for you. There's a lot more variables there. I heard did you go to school with Michael Johnson?
So I didn't go to school with him, but we went to the same high school though.
Okay.
So he came back. Funny enough, Michael Johnson came back. I was a senior, and he was on the Ultimate Fighter with George St. Pierre and Josh Koscheck. He was on George St. Pierre team, right?
Wow.
So me, I'm like, I've always wanted to be an MMA fighter. We watching it and all that type of stuff. And one of the coaches that was coaching us, whatever, at the time, he wrestled with Michael. He said, hey, we're going to have a special guest come in. We like, man, who is it going to be? So as he walked in, I already knew who he was. A lot of guys didn't know, because even at that time, a lot of guys wasn't watching like UFC like that, But I seen him. I'm like, oh, shoot, man, that's the dude from Ultimate Fighter. Because I didn't even know that he went to Marquette as well.
And that's the high school you went to?
Yeah, that's the high school I went to. So he came back for the kids, man, do a little wrestling program with us and stuff like that. And he gave me my first pair of like MMA shorts and everything. And I actually wore them things in my first fight.
Wow.
Wow. And then crazy, years later, we end up on the same card. Unfortunately, like, what happened to him happened to him, But, it is what it is. But, yeah, man, Mike Johnson, me go way back. Way back.
Wow.
I know earlier you were saying like you like to study mixed martial arts and draw inspiration. Who do you like to watch for striking?
Like right now?
Right now, what's a current fight that you draw?
I wouldn't say like it's like not like current fighters that I initially like steal from. But if I was to like really try to take some inspiration, like Wonder Boy does a lot of cool things when it comes to his striking, when it comes to his footwork. And then another name I can probably give. Oh, Alex Volkanovski. I like his style too.
What a dog, man.
Yeah, man. Come on now, savage out here. Yeah. But just because his frame, because even that me moving down at 170, the frame of these guys is still long. Tall,
Yeah.
So a lot of guys is 6'2", 6'3", and has that length. I like to watch Alex Volkanovski and how he maneuvers and works in.
Because he's a shorter fighter. He's a shorter fighter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So watching him and just how he pretty much breaks down the fighter with his pace and his footwork and also his leg kicks. Low-key, I like his leg kicks a lot. So, yeah, I would say those are two for real. But I like old school fights. I go way, like, I go into boxing a lot. I go into old school kickboxing like in the 80s, So, like Benny the Jet, Peter Cunningham, who else could I say? Bill Superfoot Wallace. I don't know if y'all know who those is, but like they cold, you know. And these the dudes way back in the day, man. So they used to hit them spinning back kicks all the time on people and land it like it wasn't nothing. So yeah, those are the guys I like to watch. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Now, you said Volk. You know, he's a shorter fighter. You know, so you like to watch him. How do you? I don't know if you can give this away. So you're going against a taller opponent. What are you thinking? Like you're like, what is the way to start tackling the taller man?
Yeah.
Like just basic concepts. What are you looking to do?
I mean, body, touch the body. Like, so one thing, a lot of taller guys, they'll use that length and they'll lean back a lot. So like even for like Israel at a science. So when I was in that weight class at first, you know, 185. That's how I was thinking about beating.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy to think about, man.
Yeah. So when thinking about beating the champ, because he was the champ and is the champ right now, I always used to watch him, and I was like, how can I touch this man? And I watched the Kevin Gastelum fight 1,000 times, and I realized that Israel never fought that type of style again, but he had the most difficulties. But why did he have the most difficulties, right? Not only was Kevin Gastelum a southpaw and he was a pressure fighter, but as well he was attacking the body, you know? And Izzy would have to shoot his shots down instead of straight or up if, you know, he was fighting Alex Pereira, but he was fighting a shorter individual, you know, which was making his, because Izzy is not a boxer. He's a kickboxer, and it's two different styles. So when you put in a boxing range with Izzy, it makes it a little bit more difficult. And I feel like for myself, if I could have implemented that same style, which I do have that same style, like Kevin Gastelum, I could have really gave Izzy some problems, you know, because I tell everybody all the time, matchups makes fights, bro.
For sure,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah, so.
It's funny that you say like the leaning back. Well, actually, Gastelum, if you look at Izzy's face, it was that was his tough. That was like had to be.
I mean, remember he's like, I'm willing to die. So you know, and it showed that Izzy a dog. You know, and I tell people all the time. That's what, actually I'm a fan. Like, just because I want to fight somebody don't mean I don't like.
You can still appreciate, appreciate the martial arts.
We trying to hunt down the same dream and goal.
Of
like,
course.
If anything, it's respect. If I want to fight you, because I only want to fight the best. I don't want to fight no bum. You know. But regardless, though, like Izzy is definitely you know, a dog in his own right. You know, for sure. But I feel like just for myself and my style and how I come, I feel like I would have been a bad matchup for him.
Yeah. I always remember the knockout against Izzy versus Whitaker. It's like he got the knockout, but it actually didn't look that clean. Like he was like leaning back. It's funny that you were saying he was leaning back.
It was more what Robert did was wrong, right? So you're doing a good job pressuring, but when you leave your hands behind, and what I mean by when you leave it down here by your hip or whatever, you don't have it. Like, so I forget what punch that Robert threw that he left himself open, but if he threw an uppercut, he left his rear hand down, you know, which led Izzy to lean back, boom, and just hit him with that.
Interesting.
But the thing, if he would have been able to block and then follow up on that same side, Izzy would have been gone because he leaned back like this and he has no defense now, you know. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this on the podcast a couple times now, but I want to hear from you. What do you think about O'Malley versus Aljo?
I think O'Malley gonna get slaughtered. Yeah. It ain't even gonna be close. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. But I felt like Aljamain kind of lost that, and I like Aljamain. Like that's my boy. Like I like Aljamain and what he do. But I feel like he lost that last fight.
Really?
Yeah, I think he lost. I gotta rewatch it though, because I was there.
You gotta rewatch it. You gotta rewatch it. Yeah,
you know what I mean? But how I felt.
Cejudo. Yeah.
Henry Cejudo. But I watched it live, you know, and I tried my best, like, to pay attention to every moment, but I still got to rewatch it.
Yeah, rewatch it.
Just in case.
Wow.
What you say?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Aljo won fair and square.
Okay,
I forget how many rounds he won, but yeah.
It. But regardless, though, if Henry Cejudo would have won, I would say, Sean O'Malley. And that's the only reason why, because a lot of people would disagree with me just because, but everybody still don't realize, like, Sean O'Malley is still good enough to keep it in the striking range, and Henry Cejudo, man, he's just so small.
Yeah.
Little. And that type of length, when the fight is starting on the feet, is hard to deal with. And if Sean O'Malley could just be able to survive a couple little takedown situations, right, he going to be able to touch Henry Cejudo enough where it's going to slow him down, hurt him, and probably knock his ass out. You know, but Aljamain, The biggest thing I feel like with Cejudo versus O'Malley is that I think
Cejudo probably has too wide of a stance for O'Malley. Like he's gonna be able to. He's gonna leg kick the crap out of him. It's gonna be. I don't know, but yeah. I mean, I'd have to say I think Aljo wins O'Malley.
That's gonna. That ain't gonna be a good one for Sean.
Just want to take a quick moment to thank our sponsors, MASF Supplements and Violent Hippie. Use code SimpleMan, all caps, for 15% off both of those companies. MASF Supplements, trademarked Smashing Greens, Smashing Reds, very nutrient-dense foods. I personally use their creatine and BCAAs during my workout and sometimes even before the workout. For Violent Hippie, they have soaps, USDA CBD oils, T-shirts, rash guards, you name it, owned by former Navy SEAL Mitch Aguiar. Use Simple Man to get 15% off.
Guys, Violent Hippie, MASF Supplements, get the Smashing Greens, Smashing Reds, all the vitamins, nutrients you need to get that body that you want.
Nicky Rod style. You signed the UFC 26, you said?
At 26,
At 26.
And when COVID was hot, when it was 2020, so the pandemic definitely made my life. It was a tragic year for the world, obviously, but it definitely, because of that, got me into the UFC.
Interesting.
Yep.
Now, what organization were you in before?
I wasn't in no organization. The last organization I had fought for, but I wasn't in it.
Yeah.
So LFA, and so going way back, I was with Bellator at first. So I had signed with Bellator.
Okay.
So that's another world class promotion as well.
Was that your first professional fight? Was in Bellator?
No, not my first. So my first professional fight was with the same team I was with for the longest time in Shamrock. Shamrock FC, that was a regional show back in St. Louis, and I was small, whooping up everybody from the neighborhood, but eventually when Bellator came to St. Louis, they just needed to put up on the prelim fights, the bodies and stuff. So we all signed a 1-fight contract deal. So usually you get a lot of guys that's from the regional show just to be able to fight on this big show, but we not signed to Bellator.
Yeah,
right?
it's just.
But I ended up showing out in my fight. So I ended up beating this dude named Chris Heatherly, real dominant wrestler and jiu-jitsu guy, ended up beating him fair and square, knocking him out in the second round. That's when John McCarthy refereed my fight, and I was kind of starstruck because it was the first time
Big John.
Big John, damn, I used to see this dude on TV all the time. But regardless though, ended up knocking dude out, and Bellator liked what they seen, so they signed me to a 4-fight contract deal. But the thing is, them 4 fights took 2 years to even get them out.
No.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Damn.
Yeah. So they got me for a good 2 years, But then after I had lost to Logan Storley, I got cut. So I was literally 3-2 with the promotion, because I lost my first fight, professional fight, to this dude named Jackie Goss. Because at first I was undefeated all the way up into my pro. And getting signed with Bellator, I lost to this dude named Jackie Goss. Got knocked out for the first time. Did not feel good, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Came back with 2 good wins, and then I lost to this dude named Logan Storley, D1 wrestler.
Storley,
and he just held me, boy. He held the hell out of me. And that was my first time being on the main card, too, in St. Louis. So I'm like, I got to show out. And that boy just kept me 15 minutes glued to the canvas. But it showed me how powerful wrestling is.
Yeah.
Because even though he didn't hurt me, I didn't hurt him. I didn't even touch him. So it showed me how powerful that was. But regardless of all that, I got cut from Bellator, man, and my career was on halt, because I ended up leaving the gym I was at, a lot of drama going on. We ain't even get into it, but a lot of drama, a lot of bull crap was going on. So it just showed me that, hey, bro, if you in this business of MMA, you got to figure out connections, network, because you can't do it alone. You got to have somewhat of a team at the end of the day. And I ain't had none of that, so I had to really rebuild from scratch, So I ended up getting signed for a fight for LFA. A year later, ended up knocking the dude out at 185, because didn't nobody want to fight me at 170, so I had to just get something at 185. Knocked him out. Waited another good little time, I'll probably say 8 months before LFA called me again for another setup fight, right?
Wow.
Yup. But I was supposed to fight this dude named RoboCop, Gregory Rodriguez.
Yeah.
You ever heard of him? Yeah. But he pulled out the fight, right? And that's a big ass boy too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, it's gonna be a decent fight. But he pulled out the fight because I think he was going on the contender series. So I got that rematch back with that dude that beat me for my first loss, Jackie Goss.
Okay.
Knocked his ass out.
Nice,
you know what I'm saying?
nice.
And then shit.
And that's for LFA.
A week later, we got signed to UFC. So it was just some random shit, bro.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, that's LFA. So I had 2 fights with LFA.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wasn't with them though. Nah.
Yeah. Okay. 2 fights LFA. Now, man, so it took Bellator 4-fight contract, but it took you 2 years.
2 years to get through them things,
So-
bro. I was like, never again.
You
bro.
have a part-time job back then?
Yeah.
Like-
So I had to have it. Well, nah, yes and no, right? I used to work at the club.
Okay.
Bouncer?
Like a bouncer.
Yeah, bouncer. You already know the vibe.
Yeah, he used to be a bouncer.
Yeah, terrible job, but you get a lot of hoes though. You know what I'm saying? So that was cool, you know. But so I worked as a bouncer for the longest time, bro. Longer than what I should have, you know. But only did it because it was fun and something to talk about, you know. Because in regular life, you like if you ain't really doing nothing, you ain't got nothing to, you know what I'm saying, really, you know, be celebrating. So regardless of that, you know, I worked that job and then I was training at the gym, you know, in and out. So I'll be trying to live off my little fight checks, waiting on the next one, you know. So when I got signed a belt, so it was decent checks, but it still wasn't enough to like. Definitely,
especially two fights a year. It's like,
well,
shit,
I was out here struggling. You hear me?
Yeah.
So regardless though, I wasn't doing so well, but I was just focused on becoming a world champion one day. So when my ass got cut, I was just pissed. You know?
Yeah.
So like I said, when I had to restart all the way back over, I had to find an actual job, like for real, you know what I'm saying, 9 to 5.
What'd you do?
To get down. But I had to go through like 5 jobs before I really got to settle down, bro. Because I wasn't used to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm tired of like waking up in the morning, you know. So I did this one job with Ambassador, bro. So I was just moving carpet, bro. So I had this temp job, man. And pretty much the whole job was just you taking flooring to these big residential spots, you know. That's all I was doing. I'm kind of working out though, you know. I'm doing my own little thing. But I was like, man, I'm getting tired of this, you know. And then I had another job, whatever. That was bad for me though, like at a factory, whatever. And we was pretty much like creating like nails and stuff for like the railroads. So like the shards of metal and shit, you breathing it in. I said, nope, I can't do this. So I only stayed there for about a week. So I really locked down on one job, which was Walgreens. So I could do my own hours. So the dude that hired me was hella chill.
Okay.
He even got me to be a shift lead like within a week, you know. Cool. So even more money. So I got paid more. So I did the overnight shift with Walgreens, man. So laid back. I used to listen to my little audio books and stuff like that. Wouldn't even mess with nobody, man. But I just got my mind right. But that was for like good a year, 2 years, you know. And then, like I said, with the LFA, you know, had them 2 back-to-back fights. But I wasn't even tripping about getting into the UFC. I was just fighting, trying to get some extra money. I just needed some extra bread. But for the UFC to like call me and be like, hey, we want you, it's just blessing, just luck. Straight luck, bro.
Yeah, and your first fight, that wasn't the knockout, the first fight.
Which one?
You're spinning back. What was your first
Kevin
fight?
Holland. Kevin Holland was my first fight.
Kevin Holland was your
Kevin
first
Holland.
fight?
They gave me a dog.
That's a tough
dog. Yeah.
You were a little last minute replacement for that fight?
Yeah, so Trevin Giles, I don't know if y'all know who that is. Trevin Giles, he's also a 170 fighter right now. He literally walking to fight Kevin Holland, he passed out. Like people say his heart stopped. But I think that motherfucker was scared as hell. That motherfucker, he just fainted. Hey, it's a tough walk. I ain't gonna lie, it's a tough walk. Because if he really did have a heart condition, why you fight?
Yeah.
Like, for real. So that's why I think it's capped. I don't think the UFC would allow him to fight. Because he's like, yeah, my heart just stopped. I'm like, so you just died walking out. That sounds about right. Yeah. But anyways, though.
So how last minute was that fight?
So straight up, no cap. So as soon as I beat Jackie Gosh, bro, they called me that Monday.
Yeah.
They called me that Monday. You want to fight this weekend?
Wow.
No bullshit. But luckily, I was already on weight, and me and Kev was both at 185.
Yeah.
So Kev ain't cut no weight, and I ain't cut no weight. And then nobody
weight.
know I ain't had to cut no weight either.
Yeah.
So it was actually just a great fight between me and him. The only thing and the only difference at that whole time, I didn't have nothing.
What do you mean?
So I didn't have no team, bro.
Fuck, you just went out there
fighting, bro. So really one of the homeboys who I used to train with, and Ryan Sutton, RIP, man, he passed away a couple years ago, you know. He had went out there with me, though, you know. But he had COVID at the time. This is when they was checking. They was having everything isolated, man.
It was on Fight Island? Where was this?
Nah, they wasn't fight. This is the Kevin Holland fight.
Where was it? It was
in Vegas. It was in Vegas.
Oh, Vegas. Okay,
yeah, in Vegas. Yep. So they had the bubble and stuff like that, and my man ended up popping, unfortunately, and so they had to isolate him somewhere else by himself. I'm like, damn. So I literally like by myself in Vegas now. So then I had to call up my management, who literally just had managed me right after the LFA fight.
They just started.
They had just managed me right after that, right? So like I said, everything would just happen randomly, and I just luckily had the right things at the right time. You know, for the UFC to call me, because the UFC would have never called me if I ain't had management. You know, they don't want to deal with a fighter. Only rightfully so. They like, fighters, fighters, we don't know what the hell going on when it comes to this business. So you got to have somebody to speak on your behalf. But regardless, though, I talked to him. I'm like, hey, bro, I need to find somebody to corner me. He was like, all right, I'm going to try to find somebody for you. And the dude that he found was also signed with him, named Kakamaka, who also trains out there. You know, real good fighter. You know, he was in the UFC. They straight played him too, though. You know, I ain't talking about like the UFC in general, but it's just like very exciting
business,
fighter, but
just
still
business.
got cut, you know.
Yeah.
And, but hey, doing big things in Bellator, you know.
Good.
But regardless though, he ended up cornering me for that fight, but we didn't even know each other. So he don't know my style, he don't know what I do, you know. And then he ain't really like a corner person like that. He a young cat. I think he even younger than me. So, you know, at the same time, it's just I just needed to have somebody there in order for me to fight. You know, but for my first 2 fights in the UFC, I was thugging it out.
Wow.
So you know, even in my second fight with Emperor, I didn't know the guys at the time. Now they my family because I actually go train with them. That's my actual gym now in Michigan. But I had reached out to this dude in Michigan who always wanted me to train with him, but I was broke. I didn't have no money just to even go 7 hours away from me, you know. So he always stayed in contact with me. He was like, hey, if you ever need something, just holler at me. That was the day I needed him. So I was like, hey, bro, I need a coach. I need a corner. I'm about to fly out to Abu Dhabi, but none of my homeboys got passports. You know, he said, all right, unfortunately, I haven't renewed my passport, but I got 2 assistant coaches, and Michael Gilmore and Justin Hardick, who we was just talking about.
Yeah,
my strength and conditioning coach now. You know, they out in Abu Dhabi cornering Daquan Townsend, who's also a fighter out there, you know.
Okay.
And so I'm like, hey, F it, let's get it. So that whole time when I flew out to Abu Dhabi, I was by myself. Wow. And then we still had to quarantine for about a week by myself, and then I got to meet them. We got to know each other, make a game plan, watched on Emperor.
Wow.
And we blew up after that. And I was like, yeah, this is my team, because if it wasn't for Joaquin Murcielago for setting me up, that moment would have never happened. Because I wouldn't have been able to go without a team.
Yep.
So how are you training when you're in quarantine in Abu Dhabi? You training inside the hotel room?
Shit, man. Yeah. Well, I'm old school, so luckily, like I said, I've been training like like the gyms was closed down for the long because there was no gym for me to go to. You know, like I straight had the blackmail on my ass, you know, so I was always outside with it. So I was always creative when it came to my training, you know. And I just felt like as long as I'm working and I'm sweating, so I ain't have no real like science behind what I was doing. I was just doing it, you know. So at the same time, I got to learn what works best for me, how I could work on my conditioning better, and you know what made me stronger. So it actually just using my mind and using my mental, what works best for me to become the best fighter that I can be, you know. So I don't have to rely on somebody giving me that information. Now, it's good to get it from somebody else, but I don't have to, because a lot of guys, they won't do nothing if don't nobody tell them to do something. And that's the wrong type of mentality to have. Because even if ain't nobody in the room, you still need to be working. You know, that's just how I feel, just philosophy-wise, you know. So you don't have to rely on somebody to tell you what to do. You know what to do, but people just not willing to do it unless somebody tell them, which is just wild to me, you know. But luckily I had that, because now even still to this day, I still do things like I used to do back in the day, because that's what worked for me in the beginning, you know. So I'm not going to change anything up. It's actually making it more advanced for me now.
Interesting. Now, do you have, so before a fight, do you like to listen to a certain music? Do you like to, how do you get your mind right? What are you doing on the mental side of things before a fight?
So, like I'm different, man. Like I love being out there. You know, it's a lot of guys that be scared, that be nervous, that have a major anxiety before a fight, you know. But for me, like, it calms me just to know that I'm out here doing what I love to do, you know.
Wow.
So, you know, but, you know, I don't have anything like traditionally, like when it comes to, I love listening to hip hop, you know. I play some Tupac, some DMX, you know. I play that hard stuff, you know. Yeah, I play that hard stuff because I feel like for real, when I go out there, you know, I'm in the streets with it. You know, I ain't even trying to be funny. Like, we in a street fight. This ain't no competition. This ain't no, you know, no sport to me. Like, I'm out there to kill you, bro. You know, like, all respect to you, but, like, you got to go, you know. But I would respect the fighter if he thought the same, because it's going to be a fun-ass fight. You know. But regardless, though, it's just, like, I don't really have no crazy, like, traditional thing that I do. I mean, I guess I do, like, the Mike Tyson affirmation. You know what I'm saying? I'm the best ever. I'm most vicious, most ruthless champion that has ever been. There's no one who can stop me. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one who can match me. I come from Nate Cloth. Like that type of stuff right there. I say that. You know what I'm saying? Before a fight, but like it ain't nothing crazy though.
Interesting.
When did you realize you got like that knockout power? Not everybody got it.
Yeah. So remember, I was a wrestler, right?
Yep.
So a lot of times when I beat guys, it was like TKO, on top, ground and pound, John Jones style. You know. So it wasn't until I left my gym, it wasn't until I was on my own and I started messing with guys that were specialties in their own craft. So this is the boxer, right? So I would literally try to find boxers to, you know, just to figure out how to throw my hands, but I had to find out this stuff the hard way, you know, because they wasn't in there to try to help me out. No. They just literally in there to knock me out, you know, which is whatever, because it helped build me, you know. So I would work with this boxer named Von Alexander, real, you know, tough boxer from St. Louis, and he pretty much showed me his levels to this game. because a lot of guys I would touch up in my own MMA room, and so I'm thinking I'm about to do the same thing to him. Whole different story. And once I started working with him, I just started learning, okay, certain ways to create that power, because he would hit me in my chest and I could feel it in my heart. My heart, no, I'm not playing, bro. Like, he hit me with a cross and hit me dead in my chest, and I felt my heart skip a beat damn near, bro. I'm like, oh, that's a different type of. Wow. So his jab alone felt like my cross, you know. So I'm like, it's little fundamental things that he's doing that I'm not doing, where I'm not really working my power like that. So me working with a lot of boxers, just by sparring, just by hitting the heavy bag, you know. And then when I had my fight in LFA, my first one, I was working with a lot of boxers. I wasn't even wrestling at this time. I was working with a lot of boxers. I went out there and got my first flush-ass knockout.
Wow.
And then I was at 185, so I was like, I feel good right here, too, because I'm not cutting weight.
What do you walk around at?
190. So right now we good. We're 195 right now.
Yeah.
Wow. But 190 is like when I'm really like, yeah.
How was growing up? Like, what were you like? What was family life like? What was it like being you as a kid?
Man, being me, bro, it was cool. You know, when my mom was around, my mom passed away when I was like in like 6th grade.
Damn,
so when I was
sorry,
like 12. Oh, that's all good. Yep. She been gone for a minute. But growing up with her, it was a lot of fast moving because my mom was everywhere, you know, hustling, trying to get money. She did hair, you know, so she would go in and out of houses, and I'd go with her. So just being able to see my mom on that grind for the longest time, I think really instilled a lot in me to do the same thing, even with this MMA stuff. Like, you can't be in one place for too long. You got to keep on moving, and then whatever you do or whatever you learn, you bring it back home. You know, you just keep working and developing it there. But, yeah, man, my life at a young age, man, is just, bro, right in front of the TV, fam. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. Like, nothing crazy, nothing special, man. I never really was most talented kid doing anything. Wasn't good at football, wasn't good at basketball, bro. Wasn't even good at video games, bro. I'm when I say I'm trash at everything, bro, I'm trash at everything. But luckily, though,
you can fight.
I can fight, bro. Yeah. And that's one thing I always had in me since I was 5.
You got to fight? You got a lot of fights growing up, huh?
But, yeah. So the way I used to get in fights, see, I talk too much, and I still talk too much. You know what I'm saying? I still get beat up to this day for it, but, you know, that's always just been me, man. Just jokingly, though, you know what I mean? Having fun, and that's always been my personality when I was younger, bro. And but yeah, it definitely helped me develop skills, man, at an early age, bro, and a mentality just to have as a fighter, you know, not having fear.
Now, walking into your first MMA gym, how'd that come about? Like, what made you want to do that? Because you were 18 at the time when you started, right?
Yeah.
So like before then,
going back on Mike Johnson, right? So I always wanted to be a fighter, point blank. I always wanted to be a fighter. So when I realized that I had wrestling in high school, you know, I realized this is gonna be the foundation right here. Even though I ain't that good at it, this is gonna be the start right here. So I always had the mind to want to be an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
But the way it started out is when Michael Johnson had came to the school. I literally got his contact, good old Facebook, you know. Wow. And I messaged him. I was like, hey, man, I'm looking for a gym, just graduated. You know, what should I do? That man said, hey, bro, just look up the closest gym on Google. Straight did that, and I didn't leave that gym for a good 8 years.
Wow.
So Finney's MMA, yep. But luck, like I said, but just by luck, the dude that I was training with and who was the coach and promoter, he ran a promotion at Shamrock. So even though it wasn't the greatest gym when it came to instruction, it was good for network.
There's some network,
that's where I
could
find fights, you know. And as soon as I was like 2 months, 3 months in the train, I was already banging.
Wow,
you know?
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You ever have anybody try to fight you while you're bouncing?
Nah. So a lot of guys, I mean, where we was at, right, it was chill, you know. So I used to work for this Bosnian dude named Jasmine and Cello, and these guys, you know, foreign dudes, whatever, and the club was literally called Club Europe, you know. So you had a lot of foreign cats that come through there, you know, mainly Bosnians, but then we also have a lot of people from colleges, from SLU and WashU that come through. So, you know, not that type of crowd, you know. So it was kind of laid back, you know. They was into that EDM, electronic music, you know, club music. So, you know, it was easy.
Not a lot of fights, huh?
Nah. I mean, you get some, but that's the thing, though. I was terrible bouncer because I was working at jobs since I was fighting. So I needed a job, so I hit up one of the dudes that I was training with named C. I was like 19 at the time, 20 at the time. I was like, bro, I need a little job. I need a little money situation. He was like, oh, man, I got you. So the chick that also used to, so she didn't run a club, but she like part owned.
Okay.
You know, so talked to her. Her name was Bobby at the time and whatever. Talked to her. and she got me linked up with Jasmine and Cello. They put me in position to be a security, whatever. But at the same time, like me, I was a wild boy, you know. So a lot of stuff I would let slide. I let fights happen. Yeah. So like I let dude like no even no cap like cause I like to see people fight. I ain't gonna lie. So like world star. So a lot of times like I allow dudes to like cause like if they really want to smoke, we either take it to the back or we head to the bathroom. And I was like whoever get knocked out, we'll take you out. And the person that knocked you out, whatever, get to stay in.
Wow.
So yeah. Good memories at Club Europe, man. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, I was wild back in the day, but I should not have been working security. I was the worst one. I was the worst one. I was instigating. I'm starting fights. Oh, you said something about your mama, man.
Yeah. That's amazing. So how'd you end up at B team? What happened? Like training like
Actually,
what made you come out here?
So Hassan, I looked him up. Actually, I seen one of his videos on Instagram, and he had submitted Cyborg.
The armbar.
That shit went viral, right? You know,
got that
and
shit,
then
yeah.
I seen that he was from Detroit, so I trained out in Michigan. And
Oh,
I'm always looking
okay.
for the best work. I'm always looking for the best work.
Good.
So I just DM'd him, whatever, talked to him. He was like, "Hey, bro, yeah, we should link up." And I found out that he was about to be in Austin as well. That I was gonna be in Austin, and then I met him at Planet 10 Planet.
10 Planet,
that's
yeah,
where
yeah.
I met you too.
Yeah.
Yup.
Oh, you guys went to an open mat or something?
Yep.
Yeah, open mat.
Oh,
Linked
okay.
up. Well, they whooped my ass. Yup. So, but hey, like I said, that right there just shows me, and like I got things to work on. I got things to improve on, you know. So I'm always privileged to be humbled, you know, by anybody. I say thank you, you know. But yeah, that's how we linked up, man, and just stay locked in with him. And then when I found out he had moved out here, you know, I was already coming out here again. I hit him up again. Was like, hey, let me link up with y'all. You know what I'm saying? When I'm out there, he said, yeah, come through. So, yep.
Your cardio is really exceptional, honestly, because
Thank
you know most people like we do like 10-minute rounds.
Even good wrestlers, even good wrestlers though, they'll get gassed. I feel like it's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, well, I'm used to the work in jiu-jitsu, right? You know, because that's one thing. If you don't have an understanding of what you're doing, which even if you are a good wrestler, you know, if you don't really have an idea of what jiu-jitsu is, and it's like just your first time, you're going to get tired just because you don't have the knowledge, you know? So that's why I'm glad I at least have a decent understanding of jiu-jitsu, and that's probably why I can still work pretty decently, you know, within that. But yeah, you got to be in decent shape with y'all. I ain't going to lie. 10-minute rounds, that's different. I'm glad y'all kind of turned it down a little bit. I was like, 8 minutes, all right, that's cool.
Yeah, why did we turn it down?
Well, that's because of the SEALs.
We got some Navy SEALs training with us.
Yeah. There's 10-minute. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I love just being out here in Austin, man, training with the whole team. And I feel like everybody good work. Like, it ain't not one person that you like, all right, decent right here. Like, nah, but like, everybody good work, you know, and that's the way to have it, you know. So if I can ask y'all a question, you know what I mean? Like, so how did the whole team come about?
Yeah, whole team. So pretty much you've heard of the Danaher Death Squad, DDS? Yeah. So that was a team back in the day, and you know, about 3 years ago, we went our separate ways. We separated from DDS and started B Team. And honestly, I feel like it started because of COVID. We had issues in training in New York. Like, it was so bad that our coach was headed to open the gym for us so we could train, and the cops intercepted him and like, oh, you can't open the gym, can't train today. So it was at that extent that
we had to sneak. We had to sneak into the gym.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah,
crazy.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
And that was a realization for us that we had to get moving so we can keep training. So we moved to Puerto Rico, and we were there for.
Moved to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, bro.
Train.
Yep.
Dedication.
Yep. We had a little spot out there. We trained out there for like 8 months, almost a year, and then decided to open up shop in Austin, Texas, and we like it here. I mean, it's hot right now. It's real hot. It's gonna keep getting hot.
Too hot. You know, like I love uncomfortable environments. Definitely like Michigan. Like, it get cold. It get stupid cold.
Fuck the cold though.
But a lot of guys like to train comfortable though. You know,
you like it?
Yeah,
makes you strong.
Yeah, make you real strong. But a lot of guys, they like to train comfortable, and I'm just not with it. Like, I want to be in the most harsh environments that I can be in to, like I said, make that cage as comfortable as possible. You know, so if I can train in certain environments, you know, even if it's outside in the heat, bro. Let's get it. You know,
when you're training specifically for a fight, and you say you got 3 5-minute rounds, are you going to do the exact time? Like, are you going to do 3 5-minute rounds with a break in between, or are you going to do like 5 minutes?
Yeah. So we always, like I said, we train like we training for a belt.
For a championship.
The only time I do 15-minute workouts is in that cage. So we pressing for hours, bro.
Really?
For hours, you know. So that's why my conditioning is so good, you know.
Very nice.
Because at the end of the day, it's just like that. Not saying I'm scared or whatever, but you got them stresses, you know, and that's what fatigues you a lot of times. So when you fighting, you actually fighting at a whole different pace from when you hitting the mitt. You know, so
anxiety can gas people
whatever.
out.
So it's still, adrenaline.
Adrenaline, yep.
That's that rush, you know, because my eyes go laser focus, on somebody, and that's where you get that high intensity from your heart rate beating so fast, and that's what'll wear a lot of guys out. So you gotta train for that as best as possible, and the only way you can train for that is by pushing that heart. Yep. A lot of people don't like to push their heart like that, bro. Yep. It's not fun.
There's a quote Jordan Burroughs said recently. He's like, the only way to create more energy is by expending more energy.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with that.
Interesting. Run that thing dry. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, where the name come from? B-Team. Why y'all pick B-Team? Like, I don't know if y'all seen the show 18. That was getting inspired right there. So why B-Team?
Why B-Team? Yeah. It's honestly because our business partner Craig Jones is known for taking second in all of the world's biggest tournaments.
So y'all, because that's what I would think about initially, but y'all really picked it because of that.
Yeah,
that's Craig.
Craig was pitching B-Team to us. I sent him a couple other suggestions.
What did you suggest?
I suggest like American submission grappling or something normal, something normal. But he was like, no, it'll sell, it'll be catchy. I'm like, all right.
It actually do like B-Team.
It's memorable.
B-Team,
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean,
but I was just wondering why that, because like I said, I would go with 18.
Yeah.
But B-Team,
especially if you want to be the best, I definitely want to be the best.
Because that's what me and Hassan, because Hassan didn't even know it. He's like, I don't even know what. When I asked him, I was like, it must be like for a better team or the best team.
That's what Nicky Rod's like. It's beast for best.
So you can swing it that way. For sure,
Yeah. I mean, it hurt my feelings a little bit, hurt my ego a little bit, be calling it B-Team. But every time I get that check from the merch or whatever, I'm like, all right, we go.
Okay. Nah, that's nice though, man. So who all affiliated with the B-Team then? When I'm talking about when it comes to the business.
So who owns the business is me, Craig Jones, Nicky Ryan, Ethan Crelinsten, and we have a business partner as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So which is nice because we're not one of us is stuck training or teaching every single day. So we still have time to be professional athletes and become the best version of ourselves. I still feel like some people get stuck or they open a gym and they have to teach every day. And in this sport, in most sports, you got to be a little bit selfish, so that's not an option.
You already know. But that's the thing I like about y'all, though, because I never really felt like it was a coaching element. It was just everybody just holding each other accountable. And that's why I feel like it should be. Definitely when you get to that level. Now, if you're a white belt, you getting brand new, you need coaching. You need instruction. But eventually, you know what you like to do. You know what you need to work on. You know what your weaknesses are. You know what your strengths are. So it's just having people around you just to keep you, ready and stable. So I like the actual style that y'all got down here. I don't really see a lot of gyms doing it.
We appreciate it. Yeah, we try to keep it nice, light, and fun. Like, there's always technique going on in class, but in addition, we learn a lot from our peers. Like, you're having conversation on the side of the mat. That's where a lot of stuff gets done. Exactly. So the talking for an hour before and after class is like, it's a way to level up, and it helps everybody around us.
So going back to like studying, right? A lot of fighters don't do that.
Yeah.
A lot of fighters, they rely on somebody, one person. So you said Danaher, right?
That's what it was.
A lot of jiu-jitsu dudes just waiting on Danaher to like, hey, what we doing today? What we working on? It shouldn't be like that, right? You have like things already on your mind, what you want to work on to help develop your game. Because like you said, it's a selfish thing. So we might be working headlocks or working like, sprawls, but like, hey, I'm already good. Like, I can still work it, but it's this I want to actually focus on today. Because I feel like I'm really struggling in this position. So I feel like guys got to work like that a little bit more to actually help develop the actual skill sets in their game,
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel as if it makes us be a little bit more not only accountable, but self-reflect. Like, we have to look at ourselves and be like, all right, if I was to beat myself, how would I do that? You pick apart your game like that, and that's how you build a...
Be real with yourself. A lot of guys don't like to be honest with themselves. you know, and that's the sad part. But that's the only way that you're gonna be able to get better if you truly honest with yourself and the things that you want to work on. Yeah. Because the reason why guys don't either step in the boxing ring or they don't step on a mat in jiu-jitsu, they only work with the certain guys, is because they don't want to get embarrassed and they don't want to be uncomfortable. Yeah. You know, but the only way to get better is to do those two things right there.
Gotta be uncomfortable constantly.
Constantly, man, constantly.
You know, I do think it actually, like the culture that we have here, it also allows us. So like you got EBI, so you're doing EBI rounds. It's like I got a submission only match, so I can do like my thing. Somebody else might have a points tournament or whatever. So it's like everyone can kind of do their own thing and what they want to work on and what they want to drill or what they want to you know, how they want their rounds to go. Versus like maybe if there's just one guy, it's just like we're all doing this today. So I do think it.
No, y'all got the right. Y'all got the right element. The only people it wouldn't work for is people that's lazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
people that don't want to work or people that don't want to learn. Like they couldn't do no. Because like if you hold yourself accountable, you don't need to rely on anybody to do that for you. You know. So if you don't already have a discipline like that, then I wouldn't say that would be the best. Because you need somebody. Obviously, whoever that might be, you need that instruction. You need somebody to tell you what to do, which is sad. But regardless, it's not a lot of things like this that will actually work for other people because they not disciplined enough to do it themselves. You know. What do you guys think? Actually, I guess like so. Actually, I was talking to my Muay Thai coach one time, and he was like, you know, what did specifically talking about John, like John Danner, what did he do to get us all on the mats? Because we were like training every day, you know, multiple sessions, and I was like, I don't actually remember if he said anything about training every day. And like even now, it's like nobody's saying to train every day. What do you think that?
I don't think he told us to train every day. I just thought that I just think that we realized this older man is here. He's gonna be on the mat today. Like you know,
we gotta go.
He's gonna be there. So we're like, all right, we're gonna go too. You know, like it was never a time where he was like, oh, you have to train every day. You have to do every single round. And so it's just like,
but even now,
we were in competition with each other, really. Because like, if you come to practice and you sit off the mat, I'm gonna ask you why, and if it's a bullshit reason, I'm gonna let you know.
Are you a pussy?
Right. Yeah. So we definitely hold each other accountable. I think that's a very valuable in our gym.
But I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna hold this back now. You're like, yeah, that's a fucking pussy thing. And I'm like, is it? Fuck, man, shit, fuck. Oh shit.
Funny. Yeah. But no, I mean, you need that type of environment, man, to keep you for real on your game, you know, because like, you know, we all had those moments where we just don't want to bullshit, you know. But like if you got somebody like, hey man, we gonna get these hard rounds, our ego, you know how it is, we gonna get to it, you know. But that's a good thing though, because it's always keeping us competitive.
No, it's
always
culture.
Keeping you sharp.
I think competition actually that makes us better because like we're all trying to be like
I said, there ain't no easy rounds in that, boy. No. So y'all doing the right thing, man. Yeah. So I feel like a lot of guys need to be learning from y'all. Just the way y'all setting up the business side. We all talented around the world. There's a lot of talented folks around the world, you know. But I feel like one thing as all martial artists, no matter what discipline you're from, whether that's wrestling, jiu-jitsu, MMA, kickboxing, don't even matter what I'm talking about, we ain't got the business down yet, you know. And I feel like a lot of guys, you know, besides just being one of the best in the world, you also want to figure out how can you amplify that by being, you know, a great businessman and helping other athletes, you know what I mean, come up, you know. B-Team might eventually start sponsoring, you know, jiu-jitsu guys, whatever, you know. So, you know, it's just those type of elements I like to see a lot, man. So keep doing what y'all doing,
well,
bro.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think we understand the value of, you know, things like social media, and we see other guys like YouTubers and stuff with their own brands, and like, you know, they're making money and not having just one specific income. And I think that's you know, something like that's valuable. Being an entrepreneur definitely is you know, something that takes some time to learn, but we're figuring out little by little.
Yeah, it's worth it though.
Yeah, I think so.
It's worth it, you know. So my thing is that's my next move too, as well, you know. And I need a team, and I got that now, and I built that with the people back home that I had, you know. And in July, I'm about to be shooting out my own stuff, so I have my own podcast and everything like that. But that's the next move, and that's what I feel like a lot of fighters need. But the only thing is, though, is just when you rely on one thing, unfortunately, you know, it puts you in a position where you depend on somebody else, in my opinion, you know. So I don't want to be dependent on the UFC to get my checks, because that means I'm waiting on them to get a meal. Multiple streams, guys, you know. So that's why I respect the Sean O'Malley's. He does that too. Who
he's
else?
probably one of the best ways.
He got YouTube, podcast, Twitch, Izzy, Volk
too.
Volk even said Hudo's doing
He got a cooking show.
Right? Yeah,
we going down.
Yeah.
It's like stuff like that. Because be honest with you, when you a high level fighter like that, you know, you ain't got shit else going on. So why not collect your life on content and because people want to see what we do, people want to know who we are. So why not put that behind the camera and make some money while you're doing it? Yep. You know, so
if you're collecting your own followers, I mean, every time you fight, it's just going to be more valuable.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So yeah, that's 100.
Now, so the thing is like competitive fighting has like once you're in the UFC, right? It's like averages around 10 years, and then like you can go longer than that, but it's like eventually that professional fighting stops. What do you plan for after that yet?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
so
yeah, man. You got to plan for the.
What does life look like for you after
business? In the business of fighting, man. So I really want to get behind the media, you know. So just like what we doing right here, the podcast, and you know, I really want to talk to athletes, man, and just really pick their brain on what the game is, because unfortunately, you know, every business is a predatory business, but UFC do it. They the thugs. UFC is the thugs of all thugs, you know, because at the end of the day, we not seeing the shirt that we need to be seeing. You know, that's just my opinion. You know, I don't care who get mad at it. It's just the truth. And yeah, we all signed that contract. You know, I know what I signed when I signed it, but who else was I gonna sign to?
Yeah,
let's keep it 100. Let's keep it a buck, right? So my thing is, it's just understanding your value as a fighter. You more likely gonna sign, you know, a different type of paper. But unfortunately, every fighter is willing to sign whatever contract with the UFC because they just want to be in the UFC.
Now,
they're not thinking about the business.
I got a question for you now, because this is something that, like, just when I think about it, it's like I don't even know if like what is the best decision. So say like you got Bellator, you got PFL, you got UFC.
Yeah.
What if PFL Bellator is paying? They're paying better, paying more. Is it still worth it to try to go to the UFC because of the platform? It's like,
yeah, that's true.
You know, it's crazy.
But like I said, though, well, if you're using it for that, then, but a lot of guys don't even use the platform. They don't even amplify it as much as they can. So it's not because of that, right? They stupid. Okay, we just gonna keep it 100. Like anybody, and I was there too, though. Don't get it. I was there too. I only wanted to be a UFC fighter at the time. Type stuff. Like when the UFC came calling, whatever whatever they offering, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
I ain't even thinking. Right? So regardless of all that, though, you know what I'm saying? A lot of guys only want to be in the UFC because it's the UFC. That's it. That's only, no other reason. You know what I'm saying? So my biggest thing is once you learn the business, you realize it don't matter. One, PFL, Bellator, UFC, as long as you making money, you should be good. Because at the end of the day, we prize fighters. So it don't matter what show I'm on, you know? And trust me, I love being with the UFC. And only the perception of being a UFC champion makes me the best in the world. But I feel like in my heart and heart, some of the UFC champions ain't the best in the world. You know, I ain't gonna get no names, I ain't gonna put nobody out there, but I feel like certain parts in certain promotions, I feel like those champs will be the champs.
You get champs in Bellator, you get some champs in one.
You know, yeah. It'll be a different story, you know. Man. But I feel like there's no promotion in the world that's better than any other promotion. Don't ever get twisted.
They're all champs are champs. Like they're all
exactly right.
Fuck, man.
So think about it if it was more like boxing. You see how boxers can go to whatever promotion they want to, whoever gets a better deal of contract. I feel like it should still be the same in MMA. You know, where we can be able to fight in the UFC, we can be able to fight in the one, we can be able to fight in PFL, and just move how we want to.
Yeah.
But the thing that's not good for business. You know?
Yeah.
Because you want to control them contracts. You know, I know a little something. That boy, y'all got a good following. Y'all get good numbers.
We getting there. We getting there.
I'm spending some game. I should even spending, but for real though, it's just the truth. Like it's a numbers game, you know. And a lot of these fighters don't even think about the numbers, bro. And like, you know, these promotions, bro, they be raking up some cake, and especially the UFC being $1 billion business, revenue annually $1 billion. That's profit, baby.
That's impressive.
You know, very impressive. But it's very impressive because you ain't paying nobody.
That's crazy too. It's like you hear about what's your thought on that? If you're allowed to talk about that,
what? We can talk about whatever. Now,
percentage, percentage of fighter pay. Apparently, I saw something like where NFL, NBA, you know, they pay around like 50% of revenue goes to.
Don't
athletes.
nobody know.
Yeah. We don't know. We don't know.
Everybody say we get 20%. I don't even believe that shit.
You think it's higher?
Overall,
or you think it's less? You think it's less?
I think it's less, but don't nobody know.
Yeah,
there ain't no actual number that we can actually see because that's what they do. And and hold on, I love the UFC for that.
Yeah.
I love the thug mentality.
Okay.
But if I could do the same thing, I probably would. Run a checkup on you. But regardless, though, it's just like the UFC has created a platform that is so massive and is so big that it can't be stopped because it's preparation, right? when Dana White seen the opportunity to buy the UFC, which is great because it wasn't his idea, first off, right? It was another guy, I think David Arts or something, whatever. But he was the older dude that started the UFC back in like 1990, you know, something like that, if not a little earlier, where it was straight goofy stuff, right? You had sumo 400-pound dudes fighting somebody else 130, karate guy, you know what I'm saying? So like shit was just
simple, man.
But Dana White did have the business element for it, right? Because they wasn't doing well as a business. They wasn't able to sell pay-per-views. They wasn't able to make no money off of it. It was just a dude that enjoyed martial arts and wanted to see what was the best combative sport to get put together. But Dana, he used to be a boxing dude, right? He used to really be behind the boxing doors and stuff and just looking at how the business ran. And he was like, it's one thing that the business of boxing is doing wrong. They promoting the fighters. Promote the promotion. Because a lot of boxing promotions would die out. They'd make one big-ass card, you know what I'm saying? Make all this money and then just disappear, right? So he was like, how can I keep my promotion alive if I was to ever get one? He's like, I'm going to promote my promotion more than I promote these fighters. And it's great because a lot of guys or a lot of people don't say, hey, you do MMA. They say, what? You do that UFC stuff?
Yeah,
you do that UFC stuff?
Even what you just, oh, you do UFC?
Yeah. Like, I don't think you can do that. Yeah. So they done a great job of just, and like I said, they the greatest promotion on the planet. Don't ever get it twisted, you know? But my thing is, guys don't learn about the business. And if you learn about the business, you realize how you not a part of it. Essentially, you the biggest part of it, but you ain't getting the good share of it. You'll feel it some type of way, you know? But a lot of guys, they don't care about that. They just want to be a world champion, you know what I'm saying? And just live their best life. That's it, you know? Me, I got bigger goals than that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But you guys want to call it up?
Yeah, that was good.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching the Simple Man Podcast.
Yeah.
I'm Damien Anderson.
Nicky Rod.
J-Rod.
And then
you already know Joaquin, new master Buckley, man. Check in with me.
So real quick, do you have anything coming up?
Yeah.
You want to shout out maybe?
So regardless if I don't have one coming up, we trying to fight August 19th in Boston.
Nice.
You know, but if we don't fight, we still gonna be out there. It's gonna be a massive card. You know, you got Aljo Sterling versus Sean Malley, you know, headlining that. And then there's a fighter out there that I really want to bang with, and hopefully he wins. Ian Gary versus Jeff Neal. So actually, I'll fight the winner of that.
Who do you want to fight?
The winner of it.
The winner,
don't matter.
okay.
You know, Ian Gary is the good name, though.
Yeah.
Ian Gary is the best name. You know, Conor McGregor 2.0. So it'd be good to, you know, take that, you know. So, but regardless, though, my thing is I'm always trying to fight the best of the best. So if Ian Gary lose, he ain't the best of the best. So I want that Jeff Neal fight. Nice. You know, so yep, August 19th, y'all gonna see me.
Bet. All right, guys, thanks for watching. You've been simplified. Dope.
Hey man, appreciate y'all, man,
for having me. Thanks for coming on. Yeah.